And a notorious convicted child abuser was granted early release after only serving a quarter of his 75-year sentence. The former middle school teacher abused 3 boys in Redlands, a district that has been rocked by sexual abuse cases for years now. KCAL News reporter Nicole Comstock tonight has more on why he didn't have to serve out his entire sentence.
Lopez is spending the first 6 months of his parole in transitional housing in Palm Desert, but some say he should be spending the rest of his life in prison. Sean Ramiro Lopez is a former teacher at Clement Middle School in Redlands. He was convicted of sexually abusing 3 male students back in the 90s, but he was released from prison this month after serving about a quarter of his 75-year sentence.
They've never gotten that closure, and yet this guy gets out. And what does that say to them? It says that their story doesn't matter and what happened to them doesn't matter.
Morgan Stewart is an attorney representing Lopez's victims.
He's a horrible guy who should never be walking the streets of any town.
He says Lopez created an elaborate ruse to sexually abuse those boys, telling them he was conducting scientific experiments on growth and giving them fake pills to convince them to undress. But Lopez is back in society now because of the state's elderly parole program. It makes offenders eligible for early parole after they turn 50 and have served 20 consecutive years in prison. Lopez served about 18 years, but the CDCR said in writing in part he received 1,599 days of pre-sentence credit for time served while awaiting sentencing and was eligible for credit earning opportunities while incarcerated.
He only got convicted on 3 victims. We know of dozens more, and the fact is Redlands helped him hide the abuse. They did for 3 years. They covered it up. They silenced victims.
The district was accused of mishandling abuse allegations against students for years. It's paid out over $41 million to settle dozens of different teacher sex abuse allegations. Stewart says he's working on 2 other cases against Lopez and 5 other sex abuse cases in the district.
We're underserving victims, and we're placating the perpetrators.
And Lopez's participation in treatment programs and his use of a walking cane were reportedly mentioned during his parole hearing as reasons he poses a very low risk of reoffending. Redlands Unified has not yet responded to our request for comment about this story. Reporting in Redlands, I'm Nicole Comstock, KCAL News.